Does Keyshawn beat Tank?
Keyshawn beat everybody. Him and Shakur. They can beat up everybody else.
However, if I were pushing Keyshawn, I would have another fight or two before I fight Devin, just for experience purposes. And if I was Devin, I would try to jump on it right now before he gets those couple fights, because the more experience he gets, the harder he's gonna become to beat.
The reason I embarked on this whole thing that I just went into is because he reminds me of Stevenson a little bit, Davis. Their styles are similar. They control the outside with the jab and counters. Good defense. Play it safe.
If you're not scared, it just makes yourself look scary.
So you're saying he should have just ate, didn't care about the next weigh-in?
Devin Haney is running scared, and the entire boxing world can see it. While champions are supposed to seek out the toughest challenges, Haney's doing everything possible to avoid one specific fighter who's been hunting him down for months. We're talking about Keyshawn Davis, the undefeated lightweight terror who just brutally stopped German Ortiz and immediately called out Haney afterward. But here's what's wild: instead of answering like a true champion would, Haney's hiding behind his father Bill, refusing to even take Davis's calls directly. Roy Jones Jr. just dropped a bombshell warning about what could happen if these two actually fight, and Timothy Bradley is straight up questioning whether Haney's team is scared. The politics, the ducking, the excuses, it's all coming to light, and what you're about to discover will change how you see this entire situation.
Right back at the top of this game, Devin showed that the weight loss was probably causing him to not have as good punch resistance, and it also probably wasn't causing him to have as much power or explosiveness as he has. He showed tremendous power, tremendous punch resistance in that fight against Norman, and for him to do that means that the weight was probably an issue. Now, if Keyshawn comes up, or if they even do a catch weight, a 143, 144, it's gonna be a very interesting fight, because I think Devin has more tools and more IQ right now, but Keyshawn is different. So when you got a guy that's different, and that's why I also said that he's not just back, he's different. You understand me? So when you gotta have that intangibleness about him, where he can be a different guy when it's time to be a different guy. You can never count it.
Listen to this madness. Boxing legends aren't just questioning Haney's hesitation anymore, they're straight up calling it out on national television. Roy Jones Jr., one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in history, recently broke down exactly why Davis poses such a unique threat to Haney's perfect record. According to Jones, Davis's southpaw style combined with his ring IQ creates the kind of problems that give champions nightmares. But here's the kicker: Jones also revealed that Haney's been struggling with weight cuts lately, and facing a hungry, explosive fighter like Davis while not being at 100% could be career-ending. Timothy Bradley took it even further, absolutely destroying Haney's team strategy on ESPN. Bradley didn't hold back, saying Davis moves like water in every direction and has the kind of punching power that can change a fight with one shot. He pointed out that Davis predicted he'd stop Ortiz, and then did exactly that in devastating fashion, while Haney's been cherry-picking easier opponents and talking about moving up weight classes to avoid the real killers at lightweight.
You know, his daddy didn't know what the hell he was doing. I told you to go chase some goddamn chickens. I told you, you don't need to be able to pick up them feet and punch coming forward without falling the fuck over. Yeah, you fell in. Keyshawn ain't gonna fall in on your ass unless he want to. Yeah, Keyshawn can throw punches as he's entering mid-range and still keep his damn distance. And he can back up out of range if he need to at the same time. He can go backwards, forward, side to side, whatever, man, like some damn switches. Yeah, on the 62 Impala, baby. Yeah. Oh, he got that power, too. Oh, he got that power. All that, hey, clinching, hugging and stuff. I'm telling you, yeah, I already know, Bill, you don't want none of no damn Keyshawn. I know you don't want none. Hey, I know Dev will fight anybody. Dev crazy as hell. Yeah, that boy fight.
And get this, Davis has been trying to get Haney's attention for months, but Haney won't even answer his phone calls. According to multiple sources close to the situation, Davis has been reaching out directly to set up this fight, but Haney consistently ignores him and forces all communication to go through his father Bill. That's not champion behavior, that's ducking behavior. Davis recently went public with his frustration, saying Haney appears genuinely scared of him and won't handle business like a man. Think about that for a second. We're talking about a guy with only 14 professional fights calling out a supposed elite champion, and the champion is the one avoiding contact. Davis even said he'd be willing to move up in weight just to get Haney in the ring, which shows you how confident he is in his ability to handle someone who's supposed to be levels above him. But every time Davis tries to make it happen, he gets the runaround from Team Haney's.
Always used to be like, oh, the businessman. Like, he showed me amazing love. And Devin Haney was just the one that just act like he couldn't see me, which I knew, like, oh, you probably scared of me. Oh, you probably got something to her. I don't know what it was. But I never seen Bill show me so much love, and Devin didn't. Like, it was always like the same thing, but when it came to me, it was different. But now that is weird, because now it's like, damn. Like, I'm gonna be totally honest. Like, one time on Twitter, like back in, this like a little personal, but like, he called me the B-word one time on Twitter. And I'm like, you grown as hell, why you even coming at a kid like that? But I'm like, all right, but I respect you differently now, you know? And ever since then, I just looked at them differently, like, okay, bet. When I get myself in a real opportunity, I'm gunning for y'all, super gunning for y'all.
Now here's where Bill Haney's story starts falling apart completely. When confronted about his son avoiding Davis, Bill claimed that Davis was just trolling and never serious about making the fight happen. But multiple witnesses say that's absolute garbage. According to people who were present during negotiations, Bill and Davis actually met in person and shook hands on potentially making this fight a reality. Bill even showed Davis respect during his rise up the rankings, acknowledging his talent and potential. But now that Davis has proven himself by destroying Ortiz, a fighter who had never been stopped before, suddenly Bill's singing a different tune. He's claiming Davis declined to continue serious negotiations, but Davis fired back saying he told Bill to contact his representative Jay Prince, which is standard business practice. Bill tried to frame that as gamesmanship, but that's literally how professional boxing negotiations work. You don't handle million-dollar fights through handshake deals and casual conversations.
A lot of people feel like maybe Devin hasn't responded to Keyshawn since, you know, the whole... He did say that he'll take Lil Bruh in any order, but
listen, I'm not, listen, it's me. It's me. I'm not paying Keyshawn no attention. You dig? Because listen, every time that I talked to him, I told him in his face, I said, you didn't have to fight this fight. You could have talked to me and we could have been making this thing happen, right? He told me, he says, I know. He said, I know. He said, I said, okay, I got you in the DMs. I got the DM on your word on it, right? I said, when you get through fighting, is Devin next? Do you want to fight Devin next? He said, yes. And then he switched over and said he wanted to fight Crocker.
I saw that.
I said, Crocker? I said, oh yeah, I ain't with you. I said, I'm not with you ever again. Now listen. I said, I'm not. I said, no, I said, I'm not with him. I said, no, I ain't with him, right? He went and did the brick. He did the brick. He went on the tear. I hit him in the DM. I said, you wanted to go?
But wait, it gets worse. Bill Haney just revealed the real reason they're avoiding Davis, and it's not what you think. According to Bill, fans are demanding a rematch between Devin and Ryan Garcia after Garcia's recent comeback and title victory. Translation: they're chasing easier money fights instead of facing legitimate threats. Garcia already beat Haney once in a controversial decision that many people thought Garcia won, so a rematch makes financial sense but does nothing for Haney's legacy. Meanwhile, Davis represents everything Haney should want as a champion, an undefeated, hungry challenger with knockout power who's calling him out publicly. But instead of embracing that challenge, they're looking for easier paydays and safer opponents. Bernie Thauboxer recently questioned Bill Haney's entire approach to matchmaking, suggesting that Bill's more interested in protecting his son's record than building his legacy.
About what the people want. The people were screaming that Ryan is back, that he had a hell of a performance. He has a belt. He's in the same division. Of course, if we went with Mario Barrios, they first, with our relationship with the WBC, everybody would have said we was cherry picking. You know what I mean? So the only splash that we could make, and just like you said all the time, is they want us to fight the tough competition, but that's why Devin is Debo.
If you fight Ryan, do you need him to be in 24/7, 365 testing? Is that like a no?
No. We just need him to test. It's not going to take 365 days to whip his ass, so we don't need him tested for 365. We just need him tested from now until...
Here's what's absolutely insane about this whole situation. Wade Plemons broke down how Haney's been going back and forth with Garcia on social media instead of focusing on Davis, who's the real threat at lightweight right now. While Haney's tweeting about rematches and moving up weight classes, Davis is out there systematically destroying every opponent they put in front of him. Timothy Bradley analyzed Davis's performance against Ortiz and was blown away by what he saw. According to Bradley, Davis moves smoothly in every direction and has legitimate one-punch knockout power to back up his technical skills. But here's the scary part for Haney. Bradley pointed out that Davis predicted he would stop Ortiz and then executed that game plan perfectly. Ortiz tried everything, switching stances, changing rhythm, adjusting his approach mid-fight, but nothing worked. Davis neutralized every adjustment with sharp timing and surgical accuracy. That kind of ring awareness and adaptability is exactly what separates good fighters from great ones, and it's why Bradley believes Davis could give Haney serious problems.
Keyshawn or Devin, or fighting Shakur or Devin, or Keyshawn, Devin fighting either one of those guys, that's a turned up fight. Him, Tank, that's all that turned up. Feel me? Them is the fights right there. Them is the crest of the crest people want to see. Turned up fights.
Obviously, Bill Haney's get lots of praises for his matchmaking lately. Obviously with the Terrence Crawford and Canelo, and obviously Devin Haney's career, right? But
I think he didn't have no matchmaking with that. He did put that bug in Crawford's ear, but that's it. How far are we gonna go with that?
They asked him what made you feel like you could move up to fight, Canelo, and
I said he put the bug in his ear.
The negotiations between these two created massive buzz in the boxing world, but despite all the public back and forth, the fight never materialized, and now we know why. Both sides were discussing terms publicly, fans were going crazy with predictions and debates, and there were even reports that Davis and Bill Haney had agreed in principle that the matchup should happen. But here's what nobody's talking about. Some analysts refuse to invest energy in the speculation because they've seen this movie before. They argued that modern fighters don't generate the same genuine anticipation we saw during legendary build-ups like Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao, because too often these negotiations are just publicity stunts designed to build names without any real intention of fighting. According to Davis, that's exactly what happened here. He claims Haney appears reluctant to face anyone gritty and aggressive, preferring opponents who look good on paper, but don't pose serious knockout threats. Davis suggested that while Bill initially showed him respect during his rise, Devin's attitude became distant and dismissive once Davis started looking like a legitimate threat.
Guys are champions, unifying on the line, and they've been going back and forth on Twitter the last couple of days. It's been pretty crazy. So let's get into it. We have Ryan, first off, saying, Haney, if it's time to end you, it's time. You will be erased. I heard you speak in my name. If this is what you want, let's start discussions. Mark my words, you'll never fight again after this. So let that sink in and accept it before you say yes. Not just, hey, I'm gonna smoke you again. Hey, you're not on my level. I'm gonna beat you pillar to post. He said, I'm going to beat you so bad you never fight again. I'm going to erase you. That's the confidence level Ryan Garcia is coming in. Is that because of his performance versus Mario Barrios, or the performance versus Devin Haney, or just a combination of knowing what he did in the Haney fight and knowing how much better he's gotten since?
Hold up, because this next part is absolutely wild. Davis revealed that he directly confronted Bill Haney and demanded assurance that a real fight would follow his upcoming victories. According to Davis, he told Bill straight up that he was willing to move divisions just to get Devin in the ring, which shows incredible confidence in his abilities. But despite those face-to-face conversations and public commitments, no formal offer ever materialized. Davis insists he kept his end of the bargain by winning impressively and calling out Devin immediately after his victories, but Team Haney went radio silent. The proposed showdown remains unfinished business, and fans are starting to question what really prevented this fight from becoming reality. Was it money? Was it fear? Was it politics? Because on paper, this should have been an easy fight to make two young, undefeated lightweights with legitimate skills and growing fan bases.
Was gonna be the next one. Yeah, and he did exactly what he said he was gonna do. He was gonna stop Ortiz's ass, and he stopped his ass. Shit, I thought it was gonna be a lot harder than that. He stopped his ass easy. Keyshawn ran through Ortiz. And Ortiz didn't know what to do. Ortiz was like, ain't nothing working. Ain't nothing working. What can I do? Let me switch southpaw. Bing, 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 bing. Let me go orthodox. Bing, bing, bing. Let me try to get in my rhythm. Bing, bing. Let me try to change guard. Bing, 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 bing. I mean, everything he did, it got taken away from his. And that's the same thing that's gonna happen to freaking Devin Haney. He get in there with Keyshawn Davis. Everything you do. I know your every move, Dev. I know your every move, Dev. Yeah, I do. I do know your every move, Dev. For real. And you don't think Keyshawn know it? Shit, Keyshawn sees it. He see what he can do to get your sons.
But here's the kicker that exposes everything. When pressed about avoiding Davis, Bill Haney completely changed his story and claimed Davis was never serious about the fight in the first place. According to Bill, he reached out multiple times trying to start real negotiations, but Davis showed no genuine interest in moving forward. Bill said that when he asked Davis directly whether he wanted to make the fight happen, Davis avoided giving a clear answer and just told him to contact Jay Prince. But that's complete nonsense, and here's why. Jay Prince is Davis's representative, and telling someone to contact your rep is literally standard operating procedure in professional boxing. You don't negotiate million-dollar fights through casual phone calls with fighters. You go through managers, promoters, and legal teams. Bill trying to frame that as gamesmanship shows he either doesn't understand how the business works, or he's deliberately creating excuses to avoid making the fight.
Opponents.
Send the contract. You literally seen Keyshawn and Bill Haney agreed to fight each other in person and all this type of stuff. And the fans start getting involved, putting out their own fight predictions. Like, yeah, this would happen and I would favor this. You don't see me doing that. And there's a specific reason. I don't waste time. I'm definitely not lazy, but I don't believe in wasted energy. What's the point? What's the point of me wasting my energy and saying 1,000 words? There's 1,000 words that I could say. You know what I mean? Get my Justin Timberlake on, Ego Timberlake, saying 1,000 words, and then I never get a conclusion. What's the point of me putting out, if you notice my channel, I don't put out no fight predictions if it ain't a signed fight. What's the point?
And get this, the situation got even more ridiculous when Davis started trolling Haney publicly to force his hand. Davis visited the famous house from the movie Friday, which directly references Haney's nickname, Dream Devin. Bill Haney lost his mind over these antics, claiming they demonstrated Davis's lack of genuine intent to fight. But that's backwards logic. If Davis didn't want to fight Haney, why would he be spending time and energy trolling him publicly? The theatrics were clearly designed to pressure Haney into responding, not to avoid the fight. Bill also complained that even when discussions shifted to potential fights against other opponents like Lewis Crocker, Davis seemed more focused on building leverage and maximizing his value rather than just taking whatever offer was presented. But again, that's literally how professional boxing works. Fighters and their teams are supposed to maximize value and create leverage. That's called good business, not gamesmanship.
According to Keyshawn, he like, they don't want to smoke. And this is why, like I said, this is why I can't get invested in a lot of these new generations back and forth.
47. The only person I'm going to 147 for is Devin Haney.
Really?
If he just stay at 140, I was going to gun for him too, though. Not going to hold you.
Right. But what about Ryan Garcia? He's a champion with a big name. He just sold out.
He got a lot of speculation around his name right now. I'm not with Ryan Garcia.
Mean?
He got a lot of speculation. Like, shit. I just want things to be,
What do you think about his performance?
It was a good performance. Great one, actually.
So, he said if he goes to 47, it got to be for Devin Haney. But the problem is, after this interview was conducted, he talking about calling out Lamar Roach. And he's saying that he ain't heard from Devin Haney. So, somebody got to be lying.
Now listen to this part, because it reveals the real problem with Team Haney's approach. Bill admitted that Devin faces challenges moving between weight classes, noting he could potentially rise to 154 pounds for a unification bout and then return to 147, possibly becoming a 4-division champion. But here's what's wild about that statement. They're talking about moving up in weight to avoid Davis, who's naturally smaller and less experienced. Think about how backwards that is. Instead of defending his lightweight crown against the best available challenger, Haney wants to move up and face bigger, stronger opponents. That makes zero sense unless the real goal is avoiding Davis specifically. Bill complained about boxing politics preventing fights that fans want to see, but he's literally the one creating those politics by refusing to make the Davis fight happen.
Keyshawn, the businessman Davis, was just trolling about a showdown with his son, first ballot Hall of Famer, undefeated 3-division world champion, former undisputed lightweight, former WBC junior welterweight, and now reigning WBO welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, and Devin the Dream Haney. 33 wins, no loss, no draw, 15 wins by way of knockout. Keyshawn Davis, 14 wins, no loss, no draw, 10 wins by way of knockout. Keyshawn is actually, I think he's older than...
Here's where it gets even more interesting. Trainer Ronnie Ellis recently shared his perspective on Davis calling out Haney, and his analysis was absolutely fascinating. Ellis praised Davis's talent and determination, comparing his aggressive approach to Nigel Benn and noting that Davis brings constant pressure and intensity that can overwhelm opponents. But Ellis also highlighted something crucial: Davis's defensive skills have appeared vulnerable in past fights, suggesting that while his offensive game is impressive, defensive adjustments would be critical against an experienced opponent like Haney. Ellis emphasized that with only 14 professional fights compared to Haney's 33, Davis would need more experience in 12-round bouts to handle the endurance, strategy, and tactical adjustments required at the elite level. That's a fair point, but it also raises a question. If Davis is so inexperienced and defensively flawed, why is Haney avoiding him?
Bill is saying now that Keyshawn, he's reached out to Keyshawn, and Keyshawn is not showing interest. Ask Keyshawn, do you want to begin negotiating? Do you want to make the fight happen? Said Keyshawn didn't answer. Then he responded to Keyshawn again and said, how are we going to work this out? What you need me to do? And Keyshawn is saying, talk to Jay Prince.
After Davis stopped German Ortiz, who had never been knocked out before, his call-out of Haney impressed many observers, but also raised questions about timing and readiness. Multiple analysts pointed out the massive experience gap. 14 fights versus 33 fights is significant at the professional level. They argued that facing a seasoned opponent like Haney would test not just skill, but endurance, strategy, and adaptability under championship-level pressure. The experience mismatch raised legitimate concerns about whether Davis was fully prepared for such a massive step-up in competition. But here's what those analysts are missing. Davis didn't just beat Ortiz. He systematically broke him down and stopped him when nobody else had been able to do that. That suggests Davis might be more advanced than his record indicates, and his confidence in taking the fight suggests he sees something in Haney that makes him believe the experience gap isn't insurmountable.
Reaction to Keyshawn's performance.
He did well, his style.
I can't hear you, Coach. Smash the like button, yo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yep.
I said that particular style, Keyshawn remind me of, he looked just like Nigel Benn, Conor Benn's dad.
How so?
The style he was fighting, the way he was, he didn't look like his defense wasn't as tight when he was his previous fights. But he did good. He did good.
Right. Obviously a statement when Jermaine Ortiz never been stopped, but at the same time calls out Devin Haney at the end of the fight.
But wait, there's something even bigger happening behind the scenes that nobody's talking about. An analyst recently discussed Davis's confidence in taking on opponents across multiple weight classes, noting that while Davis shows remarkable skill and belief in his abilities, moving up in weight comes with serious challenges. Fighters in higher divisions are naturally bigger, stronger, and often more experienced, which creates additional obstacles beyond just skill level. Success at higher weight classes requires careful strategic planning, rigorous preparation, and the ability to adjust tactics mid-fight when facing opponents with different physical attributes. The analyst highlighted that Davis's talent is undeniable, but his transition to upper divisions would test his endurance, timing, and ring IQ against more seasoned opponents who have been dealing with championship-level pressure for years.
I think he should get a couple more rounds in before, he go at Devin Haney. But, if he feel like he can take him, let him get at him, Yeah, let him get at him.
Are you looking at it more like that 12-round experience type deal?
Yeah.
Getting the rounds in?
Get some rounds in, Get some rounds in.
When you listen to and then, there's back and forth going with them too. Devin saying that, he would like to fight, the little brother before the big brother. What's your thoughts on that? I think there was a tweet saying that Shakur, I don't want to step on Devin Haney's toes. I'm going to let Keyshawn get Devin Haney. A lot of people had lots to say about it. They're saying that, listen, they're breaking down the...
Here's the thing that makes this whole situation absolutely ridiculous. Each weight class brings different dynamics: punch resistance, reach advantages, power differentials, and tactical approaches that can completely change a fighter's effectiveness if not properly accounted for. Davis has openly expressed frustration about the communication breakdown with Team Haney, pointing out that Devin consistently avoids direct contact and only communicates through intermediaries. This has created unnecessary complications in negotiations, making a highly anticipated bout seem increasingly unlikely despite massive fan interest. But here's what's really wild. Davis is willing to move up in weight to accommodate Haney, showing incredible confidence in his abilities, while Haney is the one creating obstacles and complications. That's completely backwards from how champion-challenger dynamics usually work.
People can't make 40 anymore, just like Jarambus Ennis couldn't make 47, and he moved up to 154. Now 54 is cracking. They got 54 out here cracking. Tons of names where you can mix and match the Funduras, the Virgil Ortiz, Jermell Charlo, possibly Errol Spence, Murtazaev, Boots, right? You got tons of ways you can mix and match these people. 47 right now is dry, so it's going to take Shakur's and the Keyshawns and Gary Antoine Russells or the El Rayos, different Edwin De Los Santos, Matias, different guys to move up to start to purge and fill out the division. Right now, it's not many options. Again, Devin versus Louis Crockpot is a terrible fight, and I don't know anyone that wants to.
So here you have it. Devin Haney, the supposed lightweight champion, is doing everything possible to avoid fighting Keyshawn Davis, an undefeated challenger with only 14 professional fights, who's publicly calling him out and willing to move weight classes to make it happen. Boxing legends like Roy Jones Jr. and Timothy Bradley are questioning Haney's hesitation and warning that Davis's unique style could create serious problems. Bill Haney keeps changing his story about why the fight isn't happening, first claiming Davis isn't serious, then claiming he's just trolling, then admitting they're more interested in easier money fights like a Garcia rematch. Meanwhile, Davis continues destroying every opponent put in front of him while publicly demanding the fight that would establish him as a legitimate title contender. This isn't just about two fighters anymore. This is about what it means to be a champion and whether you're willing to face the toughest available challenges or just protect your record by avoiding dangerous opponents. So here's my question for you, drop it in the comments. Is Haney legitimately ducking Davis, or is this just smart business and careful matchmaking? Do you think Davis has earned the right to fight for a title with only 14 professional fights, or should he build more experience first? If this breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening in the lightweight division, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell because this situation is about to get even more dramatic. I'll see you in the next one.
Can beat him from pretty much 40 to 47, and he says he wants to fight Jermaine Ortiz and then move up to welterweight, which would be perfect because, like I told you, I really am the best in this business. Like, everything I say is like clockwork, right? It's amazing to me. Sometimes I amaze myself. So what am I talking about? I literally just said welterweight is dry. It's a stale, stagnant, horrible division right now. Not too many ways to mix and match the guys, and then the guys you could mix and match are pretty much busy. The Ryans, the Barrioses, and the Rollies, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video. And I told you it's going to require, this is how it works in the sport of boxing. I know because I've been here.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.